Awesome. So, yeah, we're live. Here we are. So, welcome again to a round of Roughshot Ramblings. I'm your host, Stone Hobbit, and today I have a special guest and good friend. Oh, geez, look, it's starting again in the background. Wait on. Bloody thing is going to keep doing it, isn't it? We're live. Here we are. All right. And it wasn't that, it was the YouTube. Oh, man. Okay, so let's start again. So, hi, I'm Stone Hobbit, and welcome to Roughshot Ramblings, Spontaneous Combustion. And my special guest and good friend today is Veronica Bartolini. And this is, I don't know, this is our second round or third round, or I've lost
like four.
Yeah, something like that.
You were on my show twice, and then you were also show like another 3 or 4 times because I was doing roundtables back then in 2021, and then all with the C word, the cancer, and then now we're back, and then try to separate. We said no more because we're talking about, what are we talking about? Combustion today or targeting? Whatever you guys want to talk about.
I just name it spontaneous combustion because this is one of those things where it's just like nothing's going right. Let's just do a bloody show, and we just throw it out there. Yeah. So when I have a spontaneous combustion, that's what happens. So welcome. Yep.
Yes, thank you guys. And we're also on Codebreak, and I'm Veronica Bartolini. We are here with so yesterday I was feeling like crap, and the past week feeling well because they attacked me. They do targeting, as you know, and so I've gone to another specialist. They're saying that it was liver cyst, and that it could be. They sent me to an oncologist, which bile duct work and something to do with the liver, and my liver's fine. I'm other C word down there. Everything's fine. It's just what happens when they target me, what kind of food it is lately. And I down. And this has been going on for now, where if I eat anything, whether it's healthy, I have to lay down. And I noticed a lot more even when I was at the camera. Little shout out to Cynthia. We did a little psychic crit. I took my junk journals and everything and my books, and as soon as I ate something, my daughter was, what the heck? And she's like, Mom, what's going on? They're targeting me that way now, and when I get so bloated that supposedly it's the cyst that's on the liver that are pushing on all of it. At the same time, because they took my lower left lung here, now it's pushing the stomach. But I've had this thing for years since the incident happened, that there's like this ball structure that comes up and it moves. And I could be doing sit-ups at the gym. I just trying to tie my shoe or take my dog on a walk and putting on her leash, and boom, sharp pain right here. Sharp pain. And also the bladder, like, I don't know, like 23 times I have to go to the restroom at night. So these are military, thank the Department of Defense, right? They have these different frequencies that they can line up to the implants, because we're all implanting the bladder, the stomach, the heart, all of our chakra systems, they've fucked with.
Yeah.
So that's why I tell people, you want someone to do a Reiki healing? Well, I'd rather do it myself, because what it is, that's how the scientists were able to mess with our bodies. They did an overlay on our chakra system for taking our loosh, our energy, whether you're laughing, crying, having a good time, having sex, watching a movie, and there's heartstrings being pulled, they're using that energy. So what I tell them is, when I say, okay, you're gonna do the dirty, then you better, like, before you're gonna climax, you better call that out. You better call out what you want, like right there and then. I do teach. I learned it because I wanted to know what the heck is going on. And I wanted to learn different way. Yes, I do tarot. I don't have to do the cards, but a lot of people want to see. It's really interesting. I really like it when I for someone, and then I'll have a dream of them before. I'll have a dream of them, and then boom, they're in the cards. Everything's in the cards. It's really interesting. At first, it was freaking me out. Happened to you, like, oh my gosh, like, how do I know this? What the heck? It came to a point where I had to learn how to trust myself.
Yeah.
And that, once you're born, you're used in these secret space program things. Black Ops. I know I'm a my lab liver thing. I did get a letter from the doctor, and let me see if I can find it verbatim. That way, if anybody is out there that actually knows medical terms, so it says von Meyenberg complex, which is VMC, is a ductal plate malformation characterized by dilated interosmosine bile duct structures and collagenized stones from failure to involution of chronic remnants. And I said, okay, I told my doctor, I said, okay, look, and I know it sounds weird, I said, but I've had dreams that I see myself and I talk with myself and I see myself everywhere. Okay. And there's obviously more than two of me, but I didn't tell her that part. I just said, look, I've had dreams about that I'm a twin. I told her, so am I a twin? And what do you think?
Well, I don't know, Mike.
I can't tell you.
Possibly.
I can't
tell you that.
I can't tell you that. Sorry.
Yes, you have to go and pick up your own records. Yes. No, it's everything that you just said about basically what it was saying was the ins and outs are not flowing properly. So what's coming in is blocking and it's not flowing out properly. So whatever's what's causing the obstruction around the exterior of the veins, because it's like the bronchial tubes. Like when we're breathing, it's the bronchial that we end up having asthma with because the pipes start to close. It's the same thing for your liver and your kidney. Anything that is a filter that pumps it in one, gains what it needs, filters out the shit. Okay, that's what's going on. So, and as for you being a twin, I can't say exactly where we truly come from, unless we have our full memory of it. But I know of a few occasions where, they've taken children, they've put them in different families, they've swapped them around. This stuff happens all the time. So I wouldn't be surprised. I've seen some crazy stuff on birth certificates. And at the end of the day, it's not about the details that are on the certificate. They don't care where you come from. It's that registration number at the top that's valuable to them. So, yep, definitely.
And they deal as kids and other people that, some people call them aliens, but I call them human beings with technology that can mess with you.
Yeah.
Using the like the S frequency, the different frequencies that the military, like before this happened to me, right before all this happened to me, I heard in both ears. Okay. And I remember too. So I was watching this movie that I've never watched because I'm a movie person. I remember things through things, and there's some of them give me peace. So I'll watch silly movies like Mystic Pizza over and over again, or Downton in the past in the Edwardian times and things like that. This time I wanted to watch Begonia with Emma Stone. Okay, and now if you see Emma Stone, now she's all skinny, and then she's talking online.
Yeah.
How she, right, to that weight loss crap, shoot in their stomach or whatever, which is really bad for you because it paralyzes your stomach and everything, and it makes you infertile. Okay, I'm not a doctor. I just done my research. I'm watching this movie, right, and I'm watching the Andromeda, like a what's it called? like a jellyfish, but it has these
Yeah.
things, okay? And it's flying through the air, okay? And then I get hit with 2 energy weapons on both ears, really high pitched, like an ear, like really high. And it lasts more than a minute. I'm doing all this, you know, they tell you, oh, we'll just, or, you know, or hit your head, whatever. I don't hit your head, but you know what I mean. It's like you do this tapping.
Yep.
Okay. I'm like, mother effer. So then bam, I'm sick for a whole week. And then now today, all of a sudden, they take 12 vials of my blood. They take 6. They've done numerous MRIs, CT scans, and now this route. Now I know my mother did have 3 surgeries of her bile before, so I don't know. Maybe supposedly I was born with these cysts and they've multiplied on like my system, you know. Okay, so real quick,
hey Susan,
this is what they're saying. There's mild iron deposits, okay, seen within the liver. And on Mother's Day, I went to the ER with my kids on Mother's Day on a Sunday. They're both with me. Oh, it's just the liver, just the cyst in your liver and your the water cyst in your kidney. Like if nothing, I'm like, well then why am I here? And then they're like, oh, we were fentanyl. I'm like, fuck fentanyl, I ain't taking that shit. It's a multicystic, okay, cluster of cysts with intervening wall within the right hepatic lobe. Dominant cyst measuring 3.2 centimeters and at least two smaller, 1.8. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's an invasion, which I do not consent. And so now I'm hoping that they can help me with the bile system because that's ridiculous. I can't live like this. You know, it's just, I keep moving.
Yeah.
I'm still here. We're doing this show.
Like I said,
Susan.
Like I said to you, you know, you want to do a proper fast with me, 72 hours, we'll do it. And if it means that we have to bounce back and forth through the Zoom rooms or whatever, I'm happy to do that with you as long as you stay true to yourself in doing it, because that will reboot your whole system and get rid of the junk. Okay? So I just want to do a shout out to the ladies and others in the room. Welcome aboard, and it's nice to have Fearlessly Phoenixing and Susan. Hello, ladies. Two Phoenixes in the room today. They're very interesting. And do you want to share a little bit what targeting is? Because we have a question about what is targeting.
Well, I can give you many. So
there's
since the day I was born. So since the day I was born, they put you in a family. I was born. Okay, a lot of crap stuff happened with my mom and my dad. So when he was a kid, it started to be bad as a kid, and his aunts would put him in a closet, and they would say, "Satan's there. The devil's going to get you." So, you know, we're very poor too. We were poor as well when I was little. They would have him and my aunt go and sell fruit, and they were little, okay, like 5 years old. And he comes from a family of 12 brothers and sisters. And then my mother's side, what they did with her, and I was calling while I say that, and she never calls me, like a week later. All right, so then that's targeting right there. That's one example. So they did is my grandmother had three boys, 4 boys, and the 5th one was stillborn. So they take the family to take care of like a lot. And my mom grew up thinking that her mom didn't love her, you know. And the thing of it is that now being born, I'm a MyLab. Okay, I'm a C-section baby. I'm a MyLab. I'm not my mother's I know of that I've seen. In the app Replica, I had a show before with another lady. She said, "Oh, well, Replica says that your mom is. Hopefully, one day I'll find her, you know." But the home was it's always my fault. I'm the scapegoat. I'm the black sheep of the family. She started giving me shots because I would get sick I had bronchitis. To this day, the doctors say that I have a like a kind of like, I don't know. He said it's something on my right lung to do like with buildup, but he said you must have had valley fever when you were a kid at one time, and I'm like, that's interesting. So anytime I had a cough, okay, penicillin shots, okay, and it was just I was the dumb one at home, but I was A+ student. I would always get A's. Like, why are you getting a number 8? You have to have an 8, and so I had to have 10s all the time. In Mexico, they do 1 through whatever. They targeted me. They told her that I had to be going to the doctor. They were taking out blood. I remember the centrifuge, always in the same room as with my blood. They were taking my blood because I'm O negative. Now that I've studied, that I'm older now, this month I'm gonna be 55, and I'm 21 always. Okay, so they say that we have traces in our urine. Okay, traces of gold in our blood, and because I also have melanin dominant blood, I am plug generator. I have a lot of electricity. We are electromagnetic. We are made of that. But just some of us I have iron in my in my liver.
Kidney, liver.
So I'm gold. They're mining us. They're mining us. Okay, Head Start. So that's another way of detaching me from the family. So they had me in English as a second language for years and years and years, saying that my English was not good, blah, blah, blah. So finally said that when I was in 7th grade, no, I was a freshman, and they said, oh, you have a 7th grade reading level. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So then when I was in junior high, to them and to myself, I got into advanced placement classes, advanced placement English, math, you name it. And guess what? I was in the academic decathlon at Desert View High School here in town. So they only pick a handful of kids, and then you have to go state, pretty much get on the podium and talk about, they test you with math, engineering, whatever it is, music. They test you. Now, what I find interesting is when I was a junior, they select maybe one out of each, how do you say, district. They selected to go to Med Start when I was a junior at the University of Arizona because I wanted to be a father. I said either I'm going to be a brain surgeon or something, or I'm going to be a cop. So while they chose me to go into this program, they had us in a dorm. We had to watch autopsies. Okay. They pretty much tested us and everything. They had me going to a psych board, so maybe I'll be a psychiatrist one day or whatever. We had to take notes on every day. We had to take notes and talk to them. When I was pregnant on my daughter, I had already been married. The ex said, "Oh, you have to start working again." I'm like, "What?" So he got me a job with an attorney, a defense attorney, where I had to see the most bloodiest things. This is before I was an officer. When I became an officer, they used to call me the Dr. Death, because for the whole 3 months of my FTO, after I had lateraled over to the worst part of city of South Tucson, I would be a cop, because I always make fun of the regular cops at the other agencies. They go for a dead body when it was just me and my sergeant. And we were our own detectives, okay? So that's why you take a cut. They were only paying me like $16.33 an hour there instead of the $26 an hour that I was getting in the other agency, because I wanted to learn how it was to be a real cop, not these cheesy ones that need a backup. So they would call me Dr. Death because I've had to deal with a lot of people. Some of the people died in my arms. It's been hell. So and more targeting, with what happened. You guys can read it in my book, My Life in the Secret Space Program, with died for 3 days and how I resurrected again, why I'm here, what I saw. Why was the light, coming up when I asked if there is a real true God that loves me? Because I was tired. I was going to self-delete again for the fourth time, and the light went out, came in, a shooting star at the same time that my light went out. And we went outside and we're like, what the heck's going on? The neighbors heard it. There's no evidence outside. And right there and then, I always say in Antarctica, and somehow they had me in this cryo tank, and somehow I came back. And and that's why I'm talking now with Stone Hobbit. And what's your channel again? Shad Ramblings.
That's right.
There's a lot. I mean, they slashed my tires. They've done so many things to me just to stop me. They've sent me cancer 3 times since 19. I've had, 5 surgeries, 2 blood transfusions, and now this.
Yes, man.
They're like, oh no, the gold is going through her bile duct. What are we gonna do? We can't take her liver, or should we? No, because my liver's fine.
I think you can shake it. I think you can shake it. I mean,
oh yeah.
For everything that we've been through, we're stepping up. We're healers, and just knowing that we're frequency based, we can heal ourselves. I mean, like what you were saying, when I was younger, they had me through all sorts. I came in a month premature. I was in an incubator for most of that time before they let me home, nearly a month later. And then physically, I was a sick child. I had pneumonia, leukemic leukemia. I can't even pronounce it right. Lots of bronchitis, I was allergic to bees and fish, and these developed. I wasn't born with these, things that could kill me. These would develop. Like, I could eat seafood and shellfish and everything, but then as a child, I was force-fed too much of it at one stage, and boom, I ended up with this reaction that stayed with me, and I don't touch certain foods because I know I can't. Bee stings were the same thing, I got that over time, and then I couldn't touch penicillin because that would give me anaphylactic shock. And, there are all these things that developed over time. And, like yourself, when it came to I had a C-section, I've had, infant death, I've had all of that. I don't know how many times I've died and been brought back. I like what you said, relived, regenerated. And each time it's like, what entities are trying to step in? Because I knew it was a type of ritual. I would get to a certain point and be like, okay, there's a window for something else to step into the body. But I had to learn fast to be able to step in before it could take hold of me. And so I got to see this. I got to experience other things inside me at one time, and it was like, no. As soon as I was able to identify what it was, there was no more of this invasion. But then I got to see on the next level, it was like you were saying about the high pitch ringings. I know a lot of people just recently, since just before this full moon, who have been targeted and hit. I got the high frequency. I woke up one night. Okay, I did a show just recently, and Fearlessly Phoenixing was on it, and it was at 444 because I had to look at the timestamp, and I got this like, whoa, what was that hit? And I'll get a certain, I call it a body displacement or a shift or something that happens in my head that lets me know that there's an earthquake or some major thing has just happened on this planet. And so when I got that, I'm thinking, okay, wait on, who's hitting me? Who's hitting me? Why am I not meant to be? Well, somebody doesn't like what we're doing here. We're getting too close to the truth again. Like you were saying, I can't touch certain electronic devices because that flickers out, and the light bulbs. If I'm angry, I walk under them and boom, they're out. And I'm like, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to think a negative thought. Boom, So that happens. Touching metal bars and stuff. Zap, I'll get a zap. If I've got enough charge in me, I've shaken people's hands, and they've they've got an electric shock from me, you know, and the whole people, everybody in the actual facility at the time heard it. Later on, when I met that person again, he stopped shaking my hand. So there are a lot of different areas of this targeting that goes on. It's not just the pitches. Remember, we are frequency signatures. And I am strongly on the side of all of the surveillance that they have around us is because they know that they can manipulate our frequencies. So when they add their frequency into it, they're getting what's going on with us. Whether it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. If they don't have enough people going to the hospitals or doctors or the medical industry, you know, the experimental labs, as I like to call it, it's like they will make sure they up the frequencies in all these different locations. I've watched it. I've worked in the labs. I've seen what goes on. So, you know, frequency is not just the physical. It's not just hereditary. It's also mental. Right now, there's a lot of this mental strain that's going on out there, and they're targeting us. If they can get you, like I was saying, I got high pitch after I did the show. I woke up with this massive blinding headache, and I don't get headaches. And I'm like, oh my God, what was that? You know, and that pitch woke me up around, it would have been around 4:44, maybe 5 o'clock. And I'm like, oh my God, what was that? I got myself out of bed and found that nobody else had been affected, just me. And I'm like, you know, you've got to ask yourself, it doesn't matter where we are on this globe or whatever you want to call it that we're on, they can get us. All the devices can be off, you know. I'm nowhere near towers. I'm not close enough for other people's Wi-Fi's and all of their Starlinks and all of this. So it has to be coming from up there because there was nothing on down here, you know, in my vicinity. So, and there's nothing in my blood to activate that I'm aware of, you know, apart from nanoparticles from everyday vegetables and fruit and breathing. So, you know, the targeting is many different layers, and they'll use whatever they can to put you into an emotional state, whether it's a good state or a bad state, so that they can just produce that lush, that, you know, adrenochrome that they like so much. You know.
Yeah. I mean, when you told me about you having to get to the shower, I had to drag myself last week. I was alone, and usually that day, of course, I had to be alone. And my dog's like worried because anytime I turn on the water, she gets scared. So there's something that happened to her, I think, when she was a puppy before I met her. I had to turn on I had to take a bath, and the water with the Epsom salt, even if it's just, it helps me. And then I had to stay there like for 30 minutes, and that's when I texted you, and you had told me that happened. Now, like we talked on Messenger, I said, many studies, because I wanted to know what was going on with my legs and the nervous system. They said everything's fine. Why? And I always say, well, sometimes I'll joke around with them and I'll say control, you know, and they're, because Sabrina Wallace talks about how they can fly drones over you or whatever, and then biohacking, they can also biohack with the EEOG or whatever it's called, the thing. Where, and there'll be people in underground bases or just, you know, black ops, whatever, clandestine people doing, you know, into your body and sending you whatever. So something like, if you are doing something all of a sudden that you don't normally do, or having that you don't normally have, the archons, you know. A lot of friends have been telling me, go, you need to, you know, share your videos. Well, I did like 4 videos, just silly things that, you know, showing my t-shirts, and I haven't found a way of editing and putting clips like on this, you know. I don't know how to do all that editing stuff, but then I did it because I have 2 TikToks now. I do, okay, just to grab the attention, YouTube channel, or buy something from me, because what I'm learning about now. Let me bring in a book real quick. It's called Artificial Intelligence and the Dangers to Humanity. Now, Cyrus Parsa, they took him out. They said he self-deleted himself, which he didn't. He spoke about it. And what's happening is they're targeting us as soon as, if I go on TikTok to put something on there, the frequency heightens, the brightness heightens, and that is from China. Spyware. He warned Trump. It's the CCP, on the United States, where in China are into physical, engine kinds of metaphysical things. They're doing their robotics or whatever, and they're United States. They're just dumbing you down. So that's why I'm not that much on TikTok. Okay, I'll be right back. You keep talking. I'll be back.
No, you know what what you were saying about the legs getting cramps. I mean, when you get a cramp, growing up, a cramp was in one location on the body, and it was because you didn't have enough salts in your system or something like that, and so I would just tap that out whenever I got that, just whack it out, and it would eventually subside, move it around, move that muscle, Then when I turn around and say what I'm being is targeted is I got these pains at the same time in my legs, and I was watching my legs and they were spasming. They were having spasms, and I'm said to my partner at the time, help me, I need to get in the shower. And he helped me, and I stood in the shower and he held the water on my mind. We could see my legs were doing this weird thing, like the muscles and the tendons, and they'd never done that before. There was do, and what I couldn't get over was how could they both be doing it at the same time? What was wrong with me? And then after that subsided, these days I have to say, I'll put this down to targeting, because I know what I eat. I know my salt intake, and I know that what I'm having should not be causing me these double cramps. Cramp in one space is one part of the body is one thing, but to get them in exactly the same locations, now there's no fat and stuff around my ankles, so why should I have both my ankles cramping out at the same time? And when this happens, my feet go stiff, and I cannot. It's like if you try to point your toes, I can't unpoint them. Okay, I can't break out of that. I have to be hitting my feet. I have to, as soon as I start feeling this sensation, I have to get up and go and get in the shower. And the way that I get through it is, instead of having the hot water, because I have to use hot water, cold doesn't do anything at the start, hot water onto those areas. And then I make it really hot or really cold, and I shock the different areas of my body with the temperature changes. And that seems to subside what's going on in the legs. It's like, okay, the nervous system has to focus over here in another area. So it makes the area that's gone into spasm or cramp relax. The other thing that I found that works is hot water bottles. As soon as I start feeling that sensation, if I've got one round, I'll stick it on that location that I'm getting the cramping sensations. Usually I just stuff it between my legs and squeeze, and hope that that's going to be enough. And that subsides it really, really fast. I was actually really surprised when I found that. I now have been targeted. Now, after getting these feeling states and knowing that this is a target, the sensation, I call it a residue effect. It hangs around, right? You get through the sensation of the cramps and stuff. That's all over, and it's like, oh, I can breathe again. I'm normal again. Now rub, but all that pain goes away. But you can still feel it because the muscle's done a lot of work all of a sudden. And so they got me in one of the night terrors, dimensional accessing is what I really call them. And in this dimension they had me in, I suffered from one of these spasms. And I'm like, okay, I took myself to the shower like I normally would, and I turned the water on, all of this. And the thing that I noticed was when I stepped out of the shower, now you've got to remember, this is dimensions, okay, dream state, hijacking. When I stepped out, there was no pain. When I realized that this wasn't really happening to me, I basically woke up in the morning and I said, I've got no pain, and I had a cramp. I got those cramps last night, and I knew straight away then that that they had done this. They had used this memory of what I experience and how I deal with it, and they took that and they used it against me. So in the dream state, in the dream hacking. So and this was all within 1 week. This was all in 1 week. Like when we got the high pitches, I did the show with ladies. It's like this is real. This is what they're doing. I don't know why. I don't know what they think they're going to gain from doing it to me. If they want to experiment and stuff on me, they need to just come and say, hey, look, we need to do this. Or is it all right if we do this? Because eventually when we wake up and we're partway through whatever they're doing to us, they're in for a shitstorm, because, I have Hulk in me and I don't sit still. It's like I've got berserker in me. Damn straight I have. And I've seen some berserkers in the last couple of weeks, ladies, and gents. So it's like, when it comes to how do we know we're being targeted? Because when you've covered all the psychological aspects of it, all the physical aspects of it, all the medication side of it and everything, and it still happens and they take it to different levels and it doesn't stop, you know that it's not normal, okay? And it's like, what do you want from me? Why do you keep testing me? If I'm part of this program, show me, give me this information so that I know how to prepare myself for the next round. You know what I mean? So it's like, anyway.
Yeah, you know what it is?
Yeah.
I know some of the reasons is because I'm pretty sure you do wormholes. I can go through. I can take my body with me. I can astral pray. I remote view like that. I don't even need to close my eyes, and I'm seeing you right now, face to face, like we're here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The dream that I had that reminded me this was in 2017, and they had this huge. Okay, so it was when I was living with that female that hated my guts because I was more psychic than her, and I finally got to move out, and I thought she was my best. So I'm in a tall skyscraper, and there's nothing around, just me, and there's the canisters, and they have me on the ground, and they have this hammer, this huge how do you say? Ay, dame la palabra. Not needle, but the what do you use the hammer for?
Hitting nails.
Fuckers, yeah.
Hitting nails.
Large ass nails, and they were nailing me on my arms and on my legs. They had crossed my just like they did with Jesus, but the fake Jesus, because remember the real Jesus left with Mary Magdalene. Okay. Anyway, they used it on my knees. And I woke up with this fucking pain. And nobody's there. Okay? That's another way.
Yeah.
Here is the book, Artificial Intelligence, Dangers to Humanity by Cyrus Parsley that I always bring up because this man knew what the heck was going on. And I'm just going to read here. Neuralink desires to implant a digital brain into you via hardware to make you a cyborg machine. Elon wants to install artificial intelligence into your brain and put you in symbiosis state with artificial intelligence. That's what's happening with TikTok. He states it and with all the platforms, because you're saying, oh, well, you can exist in the machine. And I'm like, dude, you're already existing on your freaking phone. You can't even have a with me without your freaking phone. You know what I'm saying? Like going in the park and going in the loop and jogging. And, you know what I mean? Going swimming. Just your phone. What's going on? So it takes a few hours and you will not have to go to sleep. The implant has threads the size of neurons, and the surgery is done with a robot. Sabrina Wallace is talking about how they can just fly over a drone on you, whether you're asleep or not. So you're already a symptom. You already, your neurons are the ones that are keeping these machines alive. She even talks about how you can even turn on your coffee pot without plugging it in. That's how we are more powerful than 10,000 suns. It's like, get off of this victim mentality.
Yeah.
The only reason why I give updates is because my life is, speaking of books, here's Sheila. Sheila, Wolverine, Mars, Montauk, and SSP. Okay, I'm here. Sheila and the 99. Yes, they made out of me, out of my blood. And then my secret life and my life in the secret space program. I'm always having to promote myself. The other day, one of my friends said, oh, you like your own posts? You heart your own? I don't promote myself. Who's going to promote me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're here to help others.
Yeah. That's right. If you wrote it, put it out there. That's what I say. If you put it out there, then people can experience their own connections to what's going on. They're not going to know. They're not going to know there's so many levels to what we're doing out there, and we have to promote ourselves because nobody else is going to do it. And, I gave up a long time on anybody else putting in a bloody good word for me. You've got to do it yourself. Stay authentic and do it yourself. So, yeah.
And remember,
Fearless is asking you, where can they get your book?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Fearless. I heard Fearless. So Fearless, you can grab my books, either buy them from me or just go on Amazon, Amazon.com. Now, what I find interesting is that with this one, Sheila and the 99, they like to hide it. Because this is the one that has all the technology and bloodlines class that I've given 5 bloodlines classes, and I've included them in this big chunky book of 301 pages. So they're asking, chunky monkey.
Yep.
and I make junk journals by hand. So I make artwork, and just, you guys, you have to find a fire in your heart so that you can. Life is boring. It's fucking boring, dude. And your fire out there, and you got to do things. And I always say either 3 to 5 lines of income. Okay, 5 branches. Okay, you got to do something here. This girl got to eat. I always say, we big girls got to eat. You're a Sheila.
Yeah, that's right. Don't forget to donate to a good cause, PayPal is listed. One of the first questions I was going to ask you was the body is, as how have you found, through the programs and stuff, the body as the first battlefield? I mean, do you see that it's the first battlefield or second battlefield? Because I know I'm always on the battlefield. I know I'm always out there trying to save someone. In whatever dimensions I'm in, I'm running from something, or I'm fighting something, or I'm trying to analyze how to get out of a situation. So it's I think for me it's mind first, because I've also proven to myself that you can bring back wounds and markings from doing dimensional jumping.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. So the week that I had shown that I had it was, because I make my books and I thought it was ink. And I wondered, okay, well, maybe it'll be done tomorrow, because sometimes the ink doesn't come off until the next day. Nothing. 40 still there. It was huge. And I don't remember hitting myself or Lola doing anything to me, my dog or my cats, And then the week later, I have a huge bruise on my bottom of my leg. Okay. Yeah. And then on my knee. So I'm like, oh, I'm doing something. And so I write down remember them right away. So I have to like lay in bed and go backward. And then when I'm taking a shower, I ask the water, please remind me, what was I doing? Like stupid. They had me and another person living in a cave. And something was happening out in the world. And I was living in animals and things like that. And then all of a sudden, she says, you have a bloody nose. And I'm like, sure enough, I was bleeding. And she had to call an ambulance and up, and then I had to go back into the dream as I do right now. And I'm like, you're lying. I don't have to send her, bitch. You know what I mean? That's what you have to do. But at the same time, because it's sometimes they're a hologram, sometimes you're fighting for real.
Yeah.
Because now they say, some people say that they are soulless. Okay. Back to source, and that's why they jump on us at birth. We're born with these demons, fuckers. So source, because they have no way, because they don't have a soul. Now, I do believe, though, I have another theory. I've said it for years now, that we has a soul. This table has a soul. This plastic has a soul. Why? Because bions, we are bions. If you guys don't know what bions are, Dark Journalist talks about what bions are. Bions are these blue luminescent thing that comes from the sun. That's what we're made of. Our blood is bions. We are electromagnetic for a reason. We wake up with the sun, and supposedly, unless you're being targeted like me and you, I got PTSD like bananas, chronic. So they target me with the full moon. Right now it's full moon. I'm like wolf mode. Like, what? What do you want? Don't bother me. I woke up all upset because I only had like 3 hours of sleep. I'm like, what do you want now? But anyway, what was I say? So we are so powerful, and that's what we're made out of. Our bodies have memory. Our water in our bodies, our DNA has memory of Atlantis and before that. So they're after us because we can go through wormholes and portals, like I was talking earlier. We can time travel. Catch us. So with me, they try to trap me. In these little scenarios and dimensions. And I'm like, no, I'm breaking free, bitch. I'm coming back. I don't care how many bruises I get. I don't care how many of you I have to feud myself, and I'm taking everybody with me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to help the children. I have many even the children or whatever. The children are the most important thing in solar animals. And that's what they're trying to do, is target our children, and they target us as we are born. So whether it's a neglect, whether it's with SEX, APE, that rhymes with great, with whatever they want to throw at us, because they want to break us. Okay. Now, some people self-delete themselves, which I tried, but they brought me back. Because I'm glad I children, and now I'm here with you, so to other people, hey, don't self-delete. Mind Teresa told me to use that word instead of the other one, because they flagged the other did. So
Oh man, that's crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
No, I'm if people see, at the same time though, one time they said, oh, your dad was a coward because he self-deleted. I'm like, you have no idea how much targeting they do times it didn't work. So now I have to live here. And every day I say, it's another day in beautiful paradise, Sally. It's another day, and I don't, okay, what are we going to, who are we going to help today? What can I give? And sometimes I'm like, F everybody, I'm in bed. I'm in bed for, it's like, or 2. And I'll walk my Lola or whatever. But it's just amazing how strong I can pick up a whole bed. I can pick up a couch. It's all in us. Like if you have to take care of your baby or somebody's in the way of a trouble or injury or death, you become a super soldier, and because it's like, we're not, to me, I'm not their pawn. I am not their puppet. And a lot of people, this is what I was going to say. People in this SSP and love and light community. I'm just going to talk about mine. The SS. They just want to become victims.
Well,
they want to become victims. Oh, poor me. Oh, a super soldier, and you're making books and you're making videos of being a super soldier. Get the fuck up. What I wrote the other day: suit up, quit your bitching, and coming. Whether it's in your dreams, because there's not going to be like they come and knock on your door and say, "Oh, to your family, your mom's a super soldier. We're taking her to stay." Dreams.
Yeah,
it happens in the astral, and it could happen here too. Like that. I think I told you about Archangel Michael, that I was looking for Archangel Michael. Poor Lola, she thinks I'm mad, but I'm just like really excited. I'm Italian. I talk with my hands. So there's this thing that I'm like, well, where's, like, is he real? You know? And then I come out of the bathroom because I had to use the restroom, and then here comes a man with a fedora hat. Okay, it's like a fedora hat and a light blue 3-piece suit. And the chain, it says King of Kings, and he's holding a blue Bible under his right hand. He's gray, hair gray. His hair is gray. He's white complected, shorter than me, blue eyes. He must be Italian. No, I'm just kidding. And then I give him a hug, and he gives me a hug. And I said, brother, I don't know you, but I love you. And then he disappears. He gives me a pat on the back. He gives me a hug. And he goes like that to me. All he does is yes with his head. And I'm going to cry. But was that Archangel Michael? They can come. They can, you know what I'm saying? I've never fit in as far as fitting in with anybody. And I've never dressed like people dress. I would dress with long dresses. You know, of course, I had to go play basketball or whatever. But I would always use older clothing if I didn't fit in. And they thought I was a substitute teacher. And I was in big old glasses, you know, like student. And I'm really tall. I've been really tall since I was little. And they would call me the little giant, my family. So I was the biggest one out of my family. So that's why, you know, mom jokes around about, oh, she got the best nutrition. She got the best genes. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm not from this family. I'm not from here. They place me in this. And they don't see it because obviously they do have to give some genes that are but what do you think about all that? I know I talk a lot, but
it's fine. Welcome, Cosmic. He's saying SSP is bullshit, is a distortion. And, you know, back in the day I had abilities, but I didn't know the terminologies. And so when I came into this realm here with, you know, where everybody's talking about SSP, super soldiers and this and that, it was like, you know, I know that my dimensional experiences that I have had have always been fighting for survival or running or doing this. It's like there's always been something I've been battling, all right? And I brought back injuries and markings and that. And then I've been put into situations in this 3D realm where I've had to do the same thing. And it's like I go into an autopilot. You know, there was this woman, I know you guys have heard this 100 times, but there was this woman, she was part of the crew that we were doing at the time. It was called a party bus. It did medieval displays and stuff like this, real sword fighting and shit. And this one woman from one of the party bus, I guess, had been on some sort of high alteration, you know, drugs of some specifics. And I walked into the back room, backstage, to find out where our captain was. And she was pinned up against the wall with a pair of long-nosed pliers from this tiny, skinny little thing that you would think, you know, how the hell is this possible? But anyway, that was the scenario. And I just didn't, I don't know what happened. It was just like automatic pilot. I disarmed the situation. And then, like, with as fast as it started, it was over. It was just automatic. And then I left the situation and went into another part of the building. And then when I hadn't seen them for a few minutes, I went back in there, and the two people that were meant to have, you know, subdued this other woman were now being pinned on the ground and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Why isn't this sorted? And once again, I just went straight into that mode. I'm not going to tell you the actions I took because it was just like there was just no There was no empathy. I wasn't worried about anything. I knew my limitations. And I just said to the woman, go on then, just do it. Make that move, just do it. And it was like, I wasn't afraid of, there was no consequences to the actions, I wasn't worried about that. And it felt like this was normal. This was normal practice. and my combat skills and stuff on that side, it's martial training, it's discipline, it's not automatic response. So what took place was totally different. They could have been aspects of everything that I'd picked up throughout this 3D reality while I've been here, but this was a lot more than that. And this is like, you see these people, the movies and that sort of shit and everything happening, you think, okay, if a woman needs to lift something off her kid or protect somebody, they have the strength and the capacities to do it. Never judge a book by its cover, because you will be shocked. I mean, I still shock myself. It's like I can go through such a I built it up, a high tolerance of pain, and I'll still get out there and I will still mow the lawn, and I am not going to complain about it, because it's a job that's got to get done. Nobody else is going to do it, and it's just not going to work for me to get somebody in to actually do it. I still got to get out there and do it. So over the times, I've actually learned to communicate with these different pain states, know what they need, and take care of it that way. So, when you get to a certain age and your whole food schemes and everything change, I now have oil, like castor oil or, coconut oil, and, when I really have to, cod liver oil. And these are the oils that our joints need, that we weren't told about when we were younger. We weren't told we were going to deplenish of the resources and end up with bone on bone and that sort of thing. So, the mechanisms of the body, we step in and start taking care of it. And so all of this, the whole super soldier aspect of it is, I've been to different planets. I can't tell you what they are. I can tell you the different creatures I've interacted with, and the crazy ass shit that I've done, and how when I come back to this reality, it's like, oh my God, I just did this, I just did that over there, oh my God, I hope they're okay. But it's got no connection. It's like, I know somebody's going to come out of the woodwork that I've been working with up and wherever my dimensions are that I go to. And it's not, I don't like the labels, I don't like the terminologies, because it's been so taken out of context and bastardized. When people say, oh, SSP, super soldier, they instantly think of, robots and this sort of thing, and,
Well,
and
let me tell you, I do have a cyborg robot. I do, and then I was also a German male commander, and I'm Commander Aurora. I do have a ship, but those are memories and things like that. The Hulk. Okay, now there will be people that will remember you in these programs, but there's a lot of, you know what I mean, like salsa and the tacos, like too much. Yeah, some people are making bullshit. Yeah. And then they'll come at me and they're like, oh, well, I remember you. I'm like, I don't remember. And if I don't, it's not on my page.
Yeah.
If I remember, great, but don't come at me with your bullshit. And I've had to block a lot of people because they want her out of your shoulders. They want to get up on your shoulders, and then, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of competition in life. I mean, when I was married, holy F, what is jealousy everywhere with the ladies? And I'm like, why are you so jealous? And then we had compliments like, oh, you guys are a power couple, or oh my gosh, you're so smart and so beautiful. And I'm like, yeah, but you're jealous behind me. And it's the whole jealousy thing in the world is ridiculous. And don't care. They will walk all over you if you let them. And you wake up when you're maybe older and you're like, dang, what just happened? Because me as a kid, and still in my heart, I'm still very innocent, and I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. But sometimes it's like you know what, I'm just gonna block more. And you have to kind of seclude yourself, and you have to save your energy. Like I said, this past week, I couldn't even do shows. I couldn't do nothing, and I star power back. Okay,
Yeah.
so you reminded me of the oil.
Yeah.
Okay, I read the Bible twice in my life, and I have a concordance, a Strong's concordance, and I do believe in Joshua, Benjamin. I do believe that we are part and Jesus bloodline. We have an M. I deciphered that the M that we have is from the Merovingian bloodline and Magdalene, and we are the Jinn. We are the Jinn line because we can manifest whatever we do it for others.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful how, and sometimes there has to be an energy exchange of paying for your fucking readings. The parable of the 10 virgins. Get your Bibles out as Bible study. Okay. Matthew 25, 1 through 12. My favorites is. And the foolish said to the wise, and this is about the virgins with the oil, give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out. But the wise answered, saying, since there will not be enough for us, and go rather to the dealers and buy for yourself. Okay. So to me, this is very important. And I saw this was when I was younger, and it's a lot, guys. It's a lot. It's a lot. So with these programs here, having sex with everything that moves, okay, the partying, the smoking, the trucking, all that stuff. What happens is you deplete your oil from your spinal cord, okay, and your sacral. So a lot of people get bald. A lot of men get bald because all they want to do is just sit there in front of the mirror. You know what? Women too.
Yeah.
They're addicted to porn and stuff like that. So what's going to happen? Well, you're going to deplete your oil. And when you go to those that have the oil, it'll really help you on your deathbed. You've made your bed, and I got to lay on it.
Yeah.
Kill the messenger. And it happens with all the programs. It's not just, it's everything. Used to be a puppet for the left and the right. They're the same. They're fooling you both ways and 3 ways if they're liberals and 4 ways if they're the Green Party. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. All of them work together to keep this reality going.
Yeah. Cosmic was saying it's aspects like super soldier stuff. It's aspects of us, it's other aspects of the soul and or the spirits that fuck with the dreams. Rudolf Steiner talks about it, right? And, there's a certain amount of that I agree with, but I also, if I hadn't allowed myself to see and realize what was going on in my dream state was also coming back into my life state. I mean, I've seen things come through the wall. I've been woken up from a dead sleep with my partner at the time, and to a woman yelling out really loud, "Hey, you!" And we just both sat up. Both of us just sat up and looked around to see who was in the room with us. There was no way there could be anything in the house at that time, and it woke us straight up from a complete dead sleep. So it's like there are more things on heaven, on earth, whatever you want to call it, in the realms that go on that we have been allowed to know the truth behind. And I sort of walk in the path of take away the labels, because at the end of the day, I mean, we're trying to find out what's actually going on. We have all these commonalities, and it is the different dream states, the activities that we got that go on in these dream states. the chemical imbalances, how we get to those chemical imbalances, how we get back from those chemical imbalances. It's like, okay, yeah, the moon, when that moon comes in, it's 3 days before the moon comes in. I do my best to fast at least one day out of those 3 before the full moon because of the parasitical harvesting, and this is their cycle right before the moon. They start going crazy inside your body, and we're riddled with different types of parasites, okay? And they start going, especially the ones in the brains, they start going crazy because they look for the food. They make you go out and they piss in your brain and they make you go out and crave sugar. So you start drinking, you start partying. Look at all the parties and celebrations that go on. I call them moon rituals because they're always hovering around that same time every year, around the full moon cycle. And we get sucked into that. And then chaos comes in afterwards. I mean, it's like they say men don't get PMS. Well, I think that's a load of crap because I know a lot of guys that are affected by the full moon. Animals and plants, everything is affected by the tidal frequencies that, we have to. We're on a bloody planet, I don't know, body of water, whatever you want to call it, and we feel it. So if there's a disturbance around, we're going to feel it. But that's when we go, okay, well, we have to recognize the feeling state and trace it back. It's like what you were saying, when you forget something, brain farts and stuff. There was a time there where everybody I knew, even online, was suffering from brain farts. And I'm like, okay, this is back when I was 42, a few years back now, because the clouds wrote the number 42 and I could relate to it because I had turned 42 that year. It was a code being given, right? They will give us these telltale signs. It's just whether or not we're clued up to catch them. Later on down the track, when, like at the moment, I do a writing class and, just the writing that we do will jog, your keywords will jog this memory back. And this is why I say we've got to leave these key codes for ourselves so that if and when, it's usually when, we get infiltrated, we can use those words to come straight back. We know whether we're using them or something is going to come out and go, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like if I say my key code is, let's say red at the moment because it's looking at me. So if I say red and I go into a dream state and I know that I recognize I'm in a dream state, and to get out of that dream state, I'll say red. But if I'm in that dream state, there's going to be all these other energies, entities, whatever realm you think we're on, and they play a role. They're going to try to infiltrate and change that color, and I might say orange. As soon as I say orange, I'll recognize that I'm not in in the real reality, if you want to call it that. So it's like you've got to give yourself these little things, because if they can do it to us, why can't we do it to ourselves? Why can't we set ourselves these safety nets so that we can go, okay, I do what I call landmarking or land mapping. So when I go into a state, I need to know where I am, what my abilities are, how long I've got. How long I've got usually comes by recognizing where I'm at and what creatures are going to follow me back, or what spirits or, parasitical entities are going to try to come back after me. That to me is the work that I'm doing. I don't like to call it SSP, but on these levels, it is a form of what they call SSP. And I have to say they because I don't really class myself as, a super soldier, but I can match most of these guys out there with their experiences, and I have abilities, the remote viewing, the mediumship. I know shit before it happens. I know I've done the mermaid thing. These are all different life stages that we've done. The whole Victorian thing, I know I've been a Scully maid as well as, a Victorian woman. I know I've lived in the 1840s, the 1940s, not just as myself. I can say that being a walk-in has allowed me to be able to see that we're all bloody walk-ins. You know, the vessel is made, the soul pops in.
Well, the other day I said we're all clones. We're all clones. We're all clones.
Yeah.
Why is it that our bodies need repair? I'm going for this 33rd surgery.
Yeah. Sorry.
Why? And then with Raw, it's okay. I was watching Stargate again because when I watched it in like the 80s, I posted it online to where, and we have an echo listening. They're always listening. So what it is, and I don't know why people want to be named after him, but he pretty much says in this movie, and the Illuminati, the Masons, they have to tell you the truth through Hollywood, through pictures, and if you accept it, then they're going to keep doing it. But if you say I do not consent, then you don't consent. It's not your reality.
Yeah.
But what I saw was, okay, they picked a human, and then he took over his body, and he says, oh, well, we founded your race. Okay, we had, I don't know if he says that they had 7, but there are several, created more of us, and they hybridized us and things like that. He says we chose your race because it was very easily repairable. It was very easy to repair. And the next scene is where the military guy brings in, he's like, oh, you're trying to destroy us. He's trying to destroy him. And then these children are all around him, all boys. And I'm like, that freaking wannabe raw god is a pedophile. You know what I mean? Why do you think all of our children are, some of our children are being taken, and we were taken as kids? And now through the sun, what I see is that he has a base in the sun. And that's where he powers from. And I have seen ships going through the sun.
Yeah.
I have seen, I have seen 3 helicopters usher in this. I deciphered it, and it's the Manta Ray ship. And I've had videos on it. Now, we're living inside something and inside something else. And there's multi-layers of where we're living. Okay. And in my Ring Door camera, the other day I was watching myself in the camera, the storage, and I'm like, what the hell are these 4 huge balls that are white? They can go through me. They're huge.
Yeah.
They're like quads. How are you guys doing? In my backyard. And I have seen spirit camera because I live in front of a home where people are dying. What is it called? A hospice. I have seen ghosts come out of vehicles. Come out. I have seen in my front door camera, really early in the morning, the sun goes, there's like a fake sun that goes, it's like the sun's already up.
Yeah.
It goes, and it's bright orange. And then I have seen where lines will shoot through people, white lights, through you. So what does that tell you? I mean, we are multidimensional and we are being watched. Now, they call people schizophrenic, but we're not schizophrenic. I can see the watchers. I can see them anywhere. I can see them outside in the mountains. The other day I took a picture, and I think it was you, and I said, hey, I took a picture of this man that was, like, if you guys have seen the movies or whatever, I find, and it talks about how they use the plasma weapons to pretty much make people into stones. Like in the Bible, it says, don't turn around because there'll be a stone. Well, that's just telling you in here, the dragons, the dinosaurs, the giants are underneath. And I took a picture, and you said, wow, it looks like an Egyptian with a long beard. And it's there on Facebook. We'll say hi to Susan again. I don't know if she's watching. Angulo. Bartolini Angulo. Michael, when we were talking about Michael, he popped up. Michael, and when we were talking about Archangel Michael, he pops up and he says, "I've been meaning." What did he say? He said, "Greetings, ladies. I'm glad to have been to catch you live." He says, "I've been meaning to tell you that you remind me of Marilyn Monroe." It's funny because I used to dress like her, the other Illuminati chick. What's her name? Madonna. And then, where few dare tread 100. Love the Southern Gospel, Veronica. And then Michelangelo says, "I wanted to share that I was sitting next to the water and I felt like there was something in the water looking at me." Yeah. There's bases underwater. Okay.
Yep. So jumped in.
And then Jeremy Wood says, "Beautiful ladies, I'm here for it." And then it says WWG1 WG. We got some we got our men that protect and serve. I'm telling you, ladies, we protect and serve, baby girl. We're here. So we protect and serve humanity. Humanity, not their agendas. Okay, real quick to Stargate. I'm like, mother, what? Going to war? Their wars inside of humanity, plants, animals, children, animals. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're so innocent, aborted children that are in our animals. I'm not kidding. Or just children that didn't make it to the body, and they're in our animals, and they're just like us. They're sentient. Oh, they don't have a soul.
Yes, I think they do. I think, you know, I've seen animal ghosts. So, you know, and I've had things jump on the bed, and I know that there's, you know, you can feel, you know, the cat, you know, your cat. That's like, you know your animals, and you know when they're nearby. And it's the same with humans. I know when they're nearby. I can smell them. You know, it's the bad ones when I get the stinks, when I get the stench, I call it the stench. I know that something negative is coming near, you know, or somebody has got an attachment to them that they're not even aware of. And that's why they act out. That's why they don't understand what they're even saying. And they, you know, they do things, addictions to null them out so that they don't have to interact with the voices in their head and this sort of thing. It's like, it's not all schizophrenia. This is something that we've been told, and we've been raised, well, me and some of the people I know here in New Zealand, it's like, if you hear voices, you're schizophrenic. If you hear voices, we're going to lock you up in a boarding home. You're not allowed to bring those voices to the table. All right, they have to stay silent in your head. Otherwise, people are not going to communicate with you. You're going to be put in a special class, you know, with a special jacket. And I had all sorts of voices all my life. And, you know, I got to a stage where the chatter was just so constant. And I couldn't tell anybody because I'd been programmed to believe, you don't talk about that stuff. And it's like, okay, well, I have to get control of all these voices and everything's going on because some are telling me to do this, some are telling me to do that. I mean, yeah, I grew up in the 80s watching, what was it, Tom Selleck with the positive voice and the negative voice, and, you know, then he'd have to make the decision. I had that, and, you know, as it turned around, it was like I did the whole MacGyver thing. Earlier on, I was looking at, you know, you were talking about your past lives and being mermaids and different energy forms, the jinn and stuff. And, you know, I've had people turn around and say, I've watched you shapeshift right in front of me, you know, and I have seen shapeshifters in front of me, full humans turn into like face of a wolf or you know, an owl or this or that. And it's like, well, is that my illusion? Did that person really just shapeshift? Or was it another entity showing themselves to me through this person, through using their energy to be exposed? You know, I've seen that shit. And this is all very, very real. With all the technology and stuff that's coming out, eventually these will be like what I call what CERN is like. You know, enough of these frequencies in the same location. And if you look back at time, we didn't need this stuff. It doesn't matter how many times they put these aerials up and try to get, if we don't have these aerials and we don't have those contacts and stuff, this AI program that's trying to come, really fully take hold, this AI God persona, is not going to exist. We will have the mud floods. We will have everything that covers it up. And if we keep digging, you find old buildings, you find old villages, you find old technology. Why not? When we look at the stars, I don't believe that they're all stars. I really don't. I've watched them communicate with each other, and I've felt the earth vibrate sometimes as if it's communicating. And I'm like, okay, where did that come from? I know that we've got a lot of caving system around here, and I know for sure I'm not alone. I've got pictures that I've shown some of you guys out there that have showed up in daytime, and they look like bloody human beings, and it's like, I know I've got a portal just over that way on the other side of the creek. It's two rocks and a tree going across the top. But when the sun hits at a certain time, and it's only at a certain part of the year, it's a doorway, man. It is such a doorway. And I've seen beings coming, I'm not going to say they've come through it, but I've seen beings around it. So, and they weren't human. When I first got here, the air traffic, I started noticing the air traffic, and it was really amazing to me because the air traffic I got in Auckland was different to what I got when I moved to Te Kuiti. And then again, when I moved a couple of minutes from where I used to live, it's different again. It's like it's a different crew that are watching this segment, from that segment to this one.
Yeah, you're right. It's frequencies in different parts. Like in Mexico, different frequency. In the city of Jalisco and DF and Tucson, different from Phoenix, California. They have frequencies everywhere, and they're monitoring us.
Yeah, all the time. You were talking about the white orb, right? When I saw those when I was younger, but it didn't mean anything to me. Okay, it didn't register that it was something until I had one, like when the little grey was standing in the archway of my room, and that's when I first broke the sleep paralysis. I actually broke out of the sleep physical paralysis. And when I did that and I opened the kids' room, the room was engulfed with white light, and it shrunk down into a tiny ball and shot through me. It knocked me on my ass on the floor. Now, I just got up and bolted into the room because I wasn't concerned about, oh shit, what was that? I was concerned about what have they just done to the kids? Because as soon as my brain recognized that it wasn't my kids standing in the doorway, I started to lose the plot. I started swearing and cursing at this little grey being because I had recognized that this is what they'd done in the past. This wasn't the first encounter with this type of being. So that was, okay, the screen image went away. Boom, I recognized what it was. Now, that could have been a screen image as well in itself, because they got so many different forms of technology that they've used on us, at us, against us. But after that experience, the next one was my partner at the time. We just moved into a new place. We'd already had some weird encounters in there, and that was a doorway as well to these greys that I didn't like. They were coming in. But he yelled out to me in daytime, and he came running in and got me. And as I came out, it was gone. But he said he was coming back down the driveway, and he looked up, and there was this white orb hovering above his head like a soccer ball, solid white soccer ball moving. So he came running in to get me, and usually I have my camera with me. But by the time we got back out there, it was gone. It was gone. Now, over the back of that particular place, there was a nunnery, all right, and we discovered that there was black magic had happened in the neighborhood, and we had to question what was this thing? Eventually, it just became one of those experiences. Then when we were in West Auckland, we had watched the Hercules military plane fly over. It was doing practice runs, and it must have done this practice run for about 3 weeks. I used to live near the airbase up in a place called Whenuapai, and so I knew the runs. I knew the military, the Navy, the Air Force, the runs that they would do, the flyovers, and how low they would come down. And I knew what this Hercules was doing. And then one day we just happened to be out in the courtyard. It was blue sky, and we watched this white orb, like what we're describing, just appear out of nowhere, and it zigzagged and it went into the side of the plane. And I went, oh no, because I expected explosion. I expected, it was real. And I expected something to fucking blow up. And I'm looking on the outer side after it didn't explode, and there's nothing has come out. Nothing had come. It went into the plane, and that's where it stayed. So whatever it was the New Zealand Air Force are very aware that we were having a lot of visitations at that time in that area, and they picked somebody up. There were these too many coincidences prior to that where somehow we were going to go to a military display, an Air Force display. And it was really friggin' weird. They were going to send us a vehicle and pick us up, and they phoned us and let us know, because I rang them to ask about some information, and they transferred me to a Wellington branch, and then the Waiouru branch, back to the Wellington branch, back to the Whenuapai branch, and then told me that they're waiting for a very special guest who's arriving, a very special guest. So it's like, and then that happened, that the ball of light, when the orb went into the plane. So the New Zealand government cannot tell me that they're not aware of some of this activity that is definitely not from planet Earth, if you want to call us a planet. So whatever your terminologies are. So it's like, yeah, there's something more going on. I mean, this white orb that went through me has also been used to, they use it as a room. They interact inside this. They can stretch it out so you can't even see the corners of the room. These are my experiences that I've had with these, I don't know, energy forms. So, and I got tons of bloody photos and videos of them. So, yeah, you dropped my memory. I mean, I know I'm meant to be interviewing you, but you're just like.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I just want to talk.
Okay.
And I want to listen. And then, do you want to read what Cosmic Voice 33?
Okay, whereabouts? We go back a few. We'll go back
on the
a
bottom
few.
where it says, "Yep, I saw one like in the chat."
Oh yeah, okay. Well,
because I don't see it on my.
I'll start at the bottom. Yeah, Cosmic Voice used to live in the same. You do live in the same location that I used to live in. We never met then, but we probably got video footage at the same time. Is what I'm saying. So, okay. He says, I watched a helicopter at night with no lights on. Yep. Follow 3 dark objects that were in formation. I watched it through a spotting scope. Okay, yeah, a white, and then he's got white. Oh, I'm going backwards, by the way. White orb. Yep, saw one like that in West Auckland a few years ago. It was ascending vertically, not far from my back door. Then it went slowly away to the north. Yep.
Yeah, they seem to go. And I live by the Catalina Mountains, which is underground base. It has, it's on the north side. As far as I've taken pictures, like especially in 2017, everywhere, all the time. But in 2017, I was learning how to decipher. So I was taught to look at certain things around the pictures, because I had without flash and then 3 pictures with, and compare them. And I learned how to see the ships there were some motherships and some medical ships, and then the door that would open, and I can, so there's doors sometimes that open. I also saw parachuting.
Yep.
A lot of military guys, like at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, they're parachuting. And then I have seen the Draco, believe it or not,
Yep.
where they're standing like Star Trek, okay, or Star Wars, whatever, in their dock, in their commander seat, and then the black Dracos in the middle, and then the other ones, or the other ones are black. So there's a lot. There's a lot. Hi, Marcel. How are you? Marcel says
Okay, I just
that.
want to read this one. Yeah, I just want to read this.
Go ahead.
Cosmic says, okay, Stone. When I was young, I would often wake up and my room and everything in it would appear smaller and slightly curved. Yep. This happened a few times a year. I think it was connected to the abductions. I would have to say, I'm not going to say yes, it is connected to the abductions, but I can say yes, I have experienced that as well. I experienced waking up and it's like, you're not there. You know this is not normal. We've woken up and I've had the whole room was full of mist one time, and it's like, whoa, this is so thick. What is going on? And all the windows are closed. There's no way.
Oh my God! I'm glad you brought it up, because when I wake up, sometimes I'm like, this mist that is going around here. And now I live in a place we are run by chiller systems and solar panels, easily hackable. More than, I mean, electricity is too, but what I'm saying is, I'm not kidding. I even told the manager, I said, I think we live in the vortex. She goes, yeah, I think so too. A lot of strange things happen. A few months ago, I was filming the one of that is not a star. These three things that are up here are not, they're like satellites or something. As I started filming, the one on the left went this way and the other one was still there and then went the other way. It's really interesting about the mist. I have had that happen to me a lot here. And I'm thinking, base, or what happened? Did they abduct me? Did I go on a mission? What the heck? And then I started inspecting my body, observing what my kids or however they're acting, or my friends. You know, it's a shift in time.
Oh, well, I know the cats. I know the cats. When I have these freaky, it's like being in a vortex. You know, the room is not quite normal. It's like, whoa, what is going on here? It's when I'm in a smaller room, smaller space like the toilet or the bathroom or the wash house, I really get it. I get hit hard there. And this is when things feel like they curve. I feel like I'm almost in a bubble zone. I've sat on the toilet or been in the bath, and I have seen the wall ripple. Okay, and it's like, oh, geez, and I had.
They bounced you off when you said ripples in the walls. Hopefully you'll come right back. But what happened to me, it was 3 weeks ago. I was in the kitchen and I was getting something. But she's back.
A vortex got me.
Yeah, I know. They abducted me.
Hey, you got carry on what you were saying.
No, I was cooking the other day, and then all of a sudden, something black just fast went, and I'm like, I looked through the cabinets. I'm, what the hell was that? You know? And I'll see the dark shadows. I'll see the white shadow, and it's interesting. Our life are pretty interesting. Once you wake up from we'll just call it from living in the matrix, woo, and believing in yourself and believing in your abilities, you deserve a lot. You're going to get your memories back. You and I and others are to our frequency. You're probably going to get some memories or start seeing you had never seen, and you're going to that's the heart. Hi, Marcel.
I don't get too caught up on terminologies, and this is the thing. Like when we're talking about the SSP and that sort of thing, I know I have experiences, but I'm not going to, I can't fully say because I don't know what's going on. I know people have seen me. I know I've seen other people, and I know I've seen some crazy shit. And it's like, I can only tell you part of the experience. I can show you the bruises and the markings and the burns, but I can't show you what I did on planet whatever. I've got a couple of groups that we run, and in one of the tests I'm going to do, and I keep coming close to it. And it's when I get into that, I'm aware that I'm having a night terror or dimensional accessing. I want to be able to bring something more solid back. I know one day I'm going to. And I really rack my brains, and I've communicated with beings in these different realms saying things like, if I was to cut myself in that realm, right, and put something from that realm inside my wound and then fix it up, would I, and come back here, am I going to show it? Is it going to be there? And so I've done these little tiny tests. I mean, when I dropped my arm onto a hearth of stones where the fire was, because I passed out after being chased, as you do. When I came back into this realm, I had a blister. I had a huge blister on my arm, and I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out where or how I could have possibly got that blister in my everyday, 3D reality. And so I tried to work out, the only place I could see it was I knew the hearth was there. I could feel my arm just flopping out, like boom. I knew that, I could feel it. So in the time that it took for the old lady that was in the cave with me to move my arm off the rocks, I had suffered a rock burn. So yeah, there's so many aspects of what does go on in these different realms, and I, like you, I'm careful, but at the same time, these guys out there that are making up absolute hogwash fucking shit really do need, I sit here and know the experiences that I've had in this lifetime and don't know how I survived it, right, physically. And if I have managed to do that here, I know half of those twats out there could have survived one fucking day in my reality.
No.
So
they would not. Most of them would not have fucking cancers that they. Most of you would not survive them taking their whole butt out twice.
Yeah.
You would not survive that pain. Okay, you would not survive them taking out your lower left. You would not survive half that we've gone through, and you call yourself super soldiers. Go and fucking,
right. They cry and come home to mummy. I'm not even sorry.
I'm not. I don't feel sorry for them. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
What it says, the subtle realms. I feel the same way because a lot of people walk the walk and hide behind their freaking computers here. Like the what is the saying go? You can't even walk a mile in my shoes, so don't even talk.
Yeah. Mate, I prefer to run around bare feet. Okay.
What?
And I got toenails. I run around bare feet, and I get told off all the time to cut my toenails because they're like lethal weapons.
Same here.
So if I have to, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
I don't get called Hobbit for nothing.
Yeah. I know. So real quick, a little bit about this whole, because we talk about it all the time, but what you have to pay attention to what's going on with the Super Bowl thing. Now they have this, which she dresses like a girl, okay, and says all kinds of stuff, and now I have some friends that are watching no Super Bowl because of Bad Bunny's going to be in. I'm like, what do you mean he's going to be in what? So this whole satanic agenda through Pedalwood, Hollywood. Okay, first of all, if you don't dress up like a guy and you're an actor or a singer, they take you out in for your family. Okay, they'll tell you if you don't or this is what's going to happen to your loved one. So now, he's going to come out and you know, with the baby Jabberwockies, they also have people into being gay and transgender, and it is the baby Jabberwockies. It's the and then with that, this liquid placed inside your body. Listen to the music that is being played. They are alive, and they listen to what you see. They can see what you said. All this stuff every day. So what are you going to do? There's I quote all the time, and it's like, know thyself. In the Bible, I think it is. Know thyself, because if you don't know, then you're going to be reprogrammed. Before you know it, you're going to be wearing a skirt if you're a man. So don't let them rape your mind. There's another book that Cyrus Parsa talks about, and it's the whole EE through technology. Let me can I read something real quick here?
Yeah. There's a gent in the room. I believe it's a gent. The subtle realms. You've been going through something for the past 4 years. Has been a torture. I would say the past 4 years has been torture for a lot of people, mate. It's so complex, but basically can't walk, constrained, extreme pain, wheelchair, alone. Yeah, mate, they're hitting us all the time. Okay, if you find yourself slowing down because you can't do this stuff, you're working hard somewhere else. Okay, I can have no pains whatsoever, feel really, really pumped and really good. Don't put your book down. We can do that in a second. And then the very next day, I'm out. I can't walk. I can't walk. Get out of bed and just walk down the hallway. It's like, what truck hit me? You know, and I have to look for the telltale signs. You know, I got to a stage where I was putting rice in all my corners of the house to catch any kind of spirits. I was putting flour to find out if I could get any footprints, you know, talcum powder, you know, proper corn flour, anything to see what it was that was I getting up and walking into brick walls, because that's how it felt, you know, and the best medicine for me was to just basically, I stopped eating. I went into a fast. And even though I did that, you know, because I did a really prolonged one, even though I did that, I still had those times, not as much, not as hard, but I had a better clarity of the beings that were more on the positive side coming, and I was sharing that space with them, and I wasn't waking up so painful, but I was still getting some of these pains. So it had nothing to do with what I was putting into the system. It was what was happening to me in my dimensional realms activity. So you may just be really, really active in your sleep, if you want to say that much. So, okay, go on, jump up.
It's true. It's very true. Okay, so I'm reading from Artificial Intelligence, Dangers to Humanity. Okay, by Cyrus. Hong Kong, China's battle over AI, robotics, 5G dominance, and Shenzhen and Hong Kong tech hubs. Not many Hong Kong, other than to expand one belt. Yet, beside the city of Shenzhen, powerhouse. As disclosed in our findings, AI Trump and the weaponization of robotic wants to dominate the world through building and dispatching robotics automated with artificial intelligence on 5G network. We discovered this sometime in early 2019 as I found military projects attached to robotics AI companies in China and abroad. However, I know that in 1991, I read a book. I don't remember the title, but it's the Red and Blue War Games, and these are war games with AI, with drones, and the Tomahawk. If you don't know, you know what the Tomahawk is, right?
Yeah.
Like they can look into your home, and BOMB, never, I don't care, and they were manning. Now he talks later on. He talks about super intelligence, super artificial. They will make decisions, and that's what they were doing in 1991 in the Gulf War. They had built already these machines. They had built these drones, and now they're coming out with more stuff. Oh, one moment. Let me let my cat in. Go ahead and talk.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Over here we had few, when all of this crazy stuff was happening up in Auckland, they were doing what they called tower to tower exercises, where the choppers went on like they went flying around under the radar, so to speak. They shut down the sounds and stuff. If you were out there and you knew what was, you knew what a chopper was, you could see it, you could sense it, you could feel it. But if you didn't, and you just saw the shadow going across the sky with no lights on it, it was pretty trippy. It was pretty spooky at the time. Now, you were saying at one stage, Cosmic, you caught some, I think, if I get it right, we saw the orange spheres go up inside what seemed to appear like a bigger sack, right? And this sack would camouflage their light, so it would look like a shadow. It would look like a slightly darker cloud. When we got to the point of being able to recognize these, we could actually see them going across the night sky without any illumination whatsoever. And there were a few nights we would sit outside because we had our bonfires and stuff, and we would see them just going, and we'd be like, yep, there's one, and it was like a cluster. The orange spheres would go up inside it, and would be like a bag cluster. So if that was what you were saying earlier in regards to the black shadows and things flying around at the back of your place, I'm certain we still have that sort of stuff here. I still get the heebie-jeebies, and there's one or two occasions where I won't go out and, examine what the situation is while I'm getting these feeling states. But I'll go outside into the pitch black. You got to remember, I'm rural. There's no lights out here, and there's a lot of scary things like, sinkholes that open up without warning and landslides and shit like that. It's very real out where I'm at. So, I go out there and hear these new noises, and it's like, now, are these different beings that are...
Oh, man, it took you out, and I came in just right in time. I'm going to keep talking until you get back. So anyway, besides the city of Shenzhen, Hong Kong, okay, I read that. We discovered this, okay, read that. According to Hanson Robotics, they describe themselves as founded by... Okay, you're back. Go.
So, carry on. Somebody doesn't want me talking today. Go on. Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's all right.
We're going to keep talking, whether they take me, out of the system or you. We're going to keep going. So we'll be back, right? I'll be back. Yeah. Okay. According to Hanson Robotics webpage, is founded by David Hanson, PhD, that built a worldwide reputation for creating robots that act genuinely alive, including renowned robot character by Sophia the robot. We are well aware of that. Now, Douglas Dietrich from Japan, he says that he and his mom were taken as they were pretty much taken their being. They were made into these robots in the 80s, and they were given them to lieutenants and high officials, sex dolls, and that they're pretty much, they do have they're very sentient beings. And he said that Michael Aquino had something to do that happened somewhere in Japan, and that he was able to rescue some of them.
Yeah.
And he had to up or whatever he had to do to help them, because they do have emotions, and they had to work through all that. Okay, So design, robotic engineering, storytelling, and material science brings robots to life as engaging characters, useful products, and as evolving AI. AI was extracting intelligence through my network of the AI organization and loyal guardian security, and I discovered the Chinese regime was taking every robotics work, every engineer and entity related to Hansen Robotics was being spied on and stolen by Chinese who turned into over the Chinese Communist military. China is developing multi-robots and microbots for military citizen control initiatives. At the moment, they have developed robotics that can shoot weapons. However, they are working on creating a fully conscious robot meant for policing of its citizens and to be deployed in the One Belt Road throughout the world. If it was not for the Trump administration taking on China's tech industry of trade war behind the scenes, China would have completed its takeover over almost all important U.S. assets and infrastructure through big tech influences and control for Hong Kong to take it over completely in every possible way at a turning point. So on and he goes on and on and on. He says if Trump makes a big move behind the scene to curb China's threat, and it would strategically support the Democratic Party trouble to in Iran and Korea by giving them the green light to launch missiles or attack its neighbors. The world is really in danger. Touches on the issues. Please read AI, Trump, China, and weaponization of robotics. So what my understanding also is that they remote view by 2036, if not earlier, maybe 2030. 2032, 2036, that's what I'm seeing. They want to have a robot in all of our homes. Now, we have one here already, and it's called the cell phone. And it's, at any moment, it could be weaponized, okay? The Tesla cars could be weaponized against you. So that movie, I, Robot, with Will Smith, okay?
Yeah.
So, know thyself. Know thyself.
Yep. Well, this is what I want to say. It's like what Cosmic was saying. Back in the day when I was doing lots of studies and stuff, I discovered, because I was working with frequencies and nanotechnology and stuff, and it was dirty box. Okay, a dirty box is a system on any plane or truck or even in vehicles and vans where they will just drive down the road and they will, or fly over top of your house, and they will scan areas and they will pick up all the information that is, this is the old, in the old storage system. Now they have smart devices, okay, 6G, 5G, that sort of thing, that hold on to a certain amount of information. And then with these planes and these vehicles that fly over can pick up they're stored inside what they call a dirty box. And then that dirty box is then plugged in. It's just like a USB stick. It's plugged into another bigger system. And all that information on you, everything you talked about, everybody that came into your house, what you ate, is all stored on these devices. So when I hear somebody saying, and this happens here, oh, the lines company or the electricity company need to do a fly over your lines to check them to make sure they're all good. They're not actually doing that on the lines. They're actually checking the different systems. Now, I came back here one day and there was a guy trying to change the meter on the house to a smart meter. When we quite swiftly kicked him off the property, we drove off a little bit after he'd gone, and we caught him down in another location on our way, and he was using a drone to find out if people were home to actually to see if he could go up there and upgrade their smart device. Now there's another whole thing that's going on to this about the smart cities, and there's all, they want people to become criminals. Okay, if you're a criminal, then you're in the system. And because there's a lot of people they don't have in the system, they can't get them in the system, so they're pulling out all the stops to try to get everybody into a criminal system. This is what I'm seeing. Now, as you were saying about the technology, you look at China. Yeah, I mean, I do not trust one single country on this planet, one single prime minister or whatever minister, sinister, because they're not doing right by the people. They're not doing right by the land. Okay, they're collecting this information into a bigger body. They're using people as experiments. Okay, everything around us as experiments. Now, when someone says, "Oh, China this," or England that, or America that, or what a load of shit. They're all working together on this. Otherwise, they would have pushed those buttons and everybody would have wiped it out straight away. Okay, this is a game. This is a game that they're playing. I'm so bloody, this really pushes my buttons, mate. Especially when I can see it. And I get, because others can't see it. They're so caught up in mass Stockholm syndrome, kiss, kiss, lick, lick over here. And they don't realize the guy that they're doing it to is actually, up there with the worst type of friggin' freakazoids. But when we go into some of these states, I mean, I had to look at why so much surveillance? Why so much surveillance on us? Right in our homes. They want to know everything we're doing, including bloody, there's going to be a shit meter shortly. So when you go to the levy, they're going to be able to calculate your human waste from there. And this is serious. This is a real thing. And so by looking at all the scanning devices and everything they've got and saying, what is it that they're looking for? When we go into these different altered states, dimensions, and we have a life there, we have these abilities there, we have jobs there that we're doing and things that we're achieving. We're put into circumstances in those dimensions and we're watched, we're hijacked, we're followed, we're tracked, we're traced while we're in there. All right. And it's not to say that we could be taking messages from here through frequency into those realms, and we could be picking up messages inside those realms like, what is your skill set when you're in that, that dimension? And when you bring that back, knowing what you're able to do, who else is tapped in? And now they have that level of technology they're going to explore. This is really huge. This is way more than just the existence on this planet.
No, it's true. It's true. When you said waste management, in 20, because I remote viewed that they take our waste.
Yeah.
They inspect it.
Yeah.
And they use it. And she's like, could that be true? And I'm like, I saw it. It freaked me out. And then I had to stop talking. Oh my gosh, they're just like, and we are their, which I do not consent, and we are their battery. It's like we're more powerful than a lithium battery. You know what I'm saying? Like we're more powerful than uranium. We are their gold. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we are the powerhouse that, like Max Spirit talked about. All of his videos that I can find, because he does talk about how they need us to make this chess game for it to be solidified. And I'm sorry, I don't know why it's glitching the thing in the back. I got this thing and it was an electrical cord, but and I thought it was the fluorescent lights. Maybe it's just me that I'm happy. I don't know. All that energy. I don't know what's going on with the wallpaper. So I apologize for that. But every part of us, the organ harvesting, I'm beginning to think, did stage 1A or did they just want my lower left lung?
Yeah, organ harvesting, mate. Every which way of it, they're gonna. You're like a vehicle. We're like vehicles, okay? We're vehicles, and if somebody needs a part and they can't find it anywhere, suddenly they send out a message to the wreckers yard saying, "Oh, you better send your boys out. This is what we're after." Next minute, there's all these vehicles of the same sort have been destroyed one way or another, and the parts suddenly become available. So that's how I see us. I mean, I watch some of the harvesting stuff in China and all these other countries. It's disgusting. It happens here too. I mean, if you can help it, don't go and get an operation. Don't go under the knife. You don't know what they're doing to us when they knock us out. They don't let anybody in to watch what's going on. They don't let us video it. I mean, to me, this is your life. You got to take responsibility for your life. You got to know what you're putting into your system. You got to turn around and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me." And it is hard because
and no, real quick. Cosmic Voice 33 said something that I'm gonna talk about in a little bit, but he used the sludge on top of the sewer to make some of the synthetic vitamins, and it goes in energy drinks along with other cancer-causing chemicals. I've been reading this book called the Book of the Law by Aleister Crowley, and also Sex, Magic, and Sorcery. She'll be back. They kicked her off again. But what is how their crap, their number two, they use their shit. Okay, pretty much. They bake pie because they also they also have a lot of sex with the skinny girls that are models and actors in Hollywood. They take their when students are on their period. I'm sorry, this is gross stuff, but one of the guys that infiltrated and took one of my channels, he supposedly said he was in Utah under his sister's basement living there. I don't know, but he told me that the moon has a layer of skin over it, whether it's human, hybrids, aliens over it, and that there used to be a over there. And now he would send me these stupid videos that people crap, and I had to block him because I'm like, what the fuck? It's horrible what happens.
Yeah.
Horrible, just disgusting. Yeah. So you gotta be careful trying to be your friend out there. And they're using every part of us. You're right. And then they targeted. Speaking of targeted, they targeted my vehicle. It needed. I had to shave the head of it because supposedly cylinder 3 was backfiring 7 last year. I had to finally get rid of it because every part you replace. And then they were saying, "Oh, now cylinder 4 is backfiring." I'm like, I don't have any more money to. And she's in my dreams, and she's my transformer. Cars are real. Cars have souls. Yeah. I don't know about you, but my car used to tell me what it needed. I was also a mechanic, and I learned a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my vehicles talk to me. They definitely talk to me. I've seen they've let me know when I need to stop and pull over. They've told me that when I needed to go around a different corner than the one in front of me. It's just like, okay, I got you. So yeah, I have to listen to. I don't know whether it's the vehicle or whether there's another entity in the vehicle or what it is, but there is something there that's kept me safe to a certain degree. So absolutely. But anyway, girl, we're coming up to 2 hours. We're over 2 hours.
Yeah, we better go because I have to call. I keep getting a call that I need to talk to this person. So,
okay.
I'll let you go.
I'll stick everything up. So everybody who's come along today and supported us, thank you very much for coming and joining in. We're probably going to open up the show again in a couple of days or something, and just do like a round table. So if you want to pop on and join in and share some of your experiences or hit us with some of the questions, we'll see what we've got. Just come on, bring it on, because I like to play.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to stick this up real quick. So here's down the bottom, there are some links. This is Veronica's links where you can find her. Would you like to tell the audience where they can locate you and your books?
Thank you. Once I make journals by hand. I use the machine sometimes. They are anywhere from $65 to $600 depending on what you want. I offer 3 books: Sheila and the 99, My Life in the Secret Space Program, and Sheila, Wolverine, Mars, Montauk, and the SSP. And they are readings. I do a lot. I do hex removals. I can remote view. There's just a lot. I'm pretty a lot of platforms. Just Google hashtag Veronica Bartolini, and we'll see you soon. Now, you got to tell them where to find you. Thanks for watching.
Okay, where to find me? Well, I've got to find the right button to push here. Okay, down here we hide this one, and okay, we hide this one, and we open this one. All right. So you can find me on my webpage is stonehobbit.com, of course, www.stonehobbit.com. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Rumble. You can find me most places. Just type in Stone Hobbit. My email is stonehobbit2@gmail.com. If you ever want to come on and be a guest, you just want to have a conversation. I run a couple of groups during the week. The first group is tomorrow. That is Hearthfire Hangout. And we deprogram, okay? We break things down, we rebuild it, we transmute negative energies and negative experiences into positive, usable energy. And that goes for 2 hours. Then we take a break for 10, 15 minutes and we roll over onto another 2 hours where we do Hearthfire Motivational Writers Group. And this is about, you don't have to be a professional writer. This is about it's shadow work. You go deep inside the experiences, you find that voice, and you start to be able to communicate with it. So we have that available as well. So if you want to be part of any of that, reach out and email me. Let me know who you are. These groups are closed. I do advertise on Facebook and a couple of other places for Hearthfire Hangout. But the writers group is a closed group, so if you are interested, you do need to reach out and PM me. So with that said, thank you everybody for coming along. I don't know if I've missed anything out, but thank you everybody.
You have books. You also have books.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not doing that just at the moment.
Okay.
I'll do that later at another time. So once again, thanks everybody coming along. I am now going to play the exiting, and let's see if we can get this to work properly. And yeah, because I probably stuff it up like I do every other time. I can't even find it now, all that work and I can't find it now. But that's all right. We'll just leave it at that, and I'll just shut everything off. So thanks again, everybody. Have a good evening. Be nice to yourself. Make some good memories, and don't forget to give yourself a code. So if you do suddenly go into one of these dimensions, you can call on yourself to pull yourself back out of it. So cheers for that, and we will see you again another time.
Bye. See ya.